AI has made developers superhuman, but did everyone else get left behind? Tools like Cursor or Windsurf are revolutionary for code, but the reality is, most knowledge work, the research, the communication, the planning, is still largely unchanged by this AI wave for billions of people. What does it look like when we give every professional their own AI counterpart integrated directly to where they actually do their work? Maybe the most unfair workplace advantage isn't who you know, it's which browser you use. This is a 2Use Deep Dive on Strawberry Browser. Today I'm joined by Sebastian Thunman, one of the co-founders of Strawberry Browser. Sebastian, tell us about Strawberry.
Hi Mike, thanks for having me. Strawberry is a browser like any other really, but we built it to be AI native. So we're taking the different AI capabilities that are out there today with this whole Gen AI revolution and kind of trying to just put those tools into the hands of anyone really, into their daily workflows in a way where they can actually improve the quality and speed of their work.
So what is one of the advantages of having it integrate into the browser versus, say, just having an extra tab open with ChatGPT running?
It seems too simple to say that it's annoying for a person to go back and forth between tabs, right? But that little detail is actually quite significant in a way that you don't really realize it until you've had the alternative. And I think the cursor analogy is great here. Again, you could kind of ask that question for any developer. Like you have Claude, like you can use Claude, Anthropic, whatever in the browser. It's just like you switch windows. What's the big deal? But just having it there where you're working makes a big difference. And that's just like the starting point. I think in the long term, it's more about like how it integrates deeply into your workflows. And very quickly, just having a tab open just like doesn't cut it anymore. I would say the main situations where that becomes clear is in different types of like agentic workflows, like any type of agentic function where the AI isn't just like writing some text that doesn't need context or whatever, you're just answering a question. Any situation where you want your AI agent to have access to something that you're working on right now, and then maybe even perform actions based on that. I think you want this integrated into more of a holistic product, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love that you used the example of Cursor because I was one of the people who used to use VS Code and Claude Open. But then you're worried about getting the right context, copying, pasting over a lot. It breaks the flow. And then all of a sudden you have to like kind of get back into the zone. So having everything integrated in one place with a lot of background running processes absolutely has value. So I really appreciate the approach you're taking. Would you mind walking us through some of these examples of the agentic capabilities that Strawberry has?
Yeah, sure. So I would kind of split it into two categories. One that is kind of read access, and then the other one is write access. So there you have one type of capability, which is research, which is just opening a bunch of tabs and just extracting the information based on them on those tabs. And then it might make some decisions on if it wants to keep looking or whatever. But fundamentally, it takes information out of the tab and gives it to you. The other category, the writing one, is the one where I would say that the real like long-term potential is, where you can actually have it click around in your different tabs with its own mouse and keyboard and actually performs tasks for you. Because reading information is a type of productivity, and it does save a lot of time, especially for certain groups of people and certain job functions. But in the end, like most productivity, I would say is based on some sort of input from a human. So when we unlock that at scale with agents, I think we're in for a real ride.
I'd love to see a demo.
Absolutely, yeah. Okay, let's start with research. I would say that probably one of the most common examples where we get a lot of, or where we create a lot of value is for people who do competitor analysis. And what that looks like is often just like you're on a page, you might have like a list of URLs that you need to go through, and then you go to that website, and then you might need to do some sort of competitor analysis. Like that's a typical thing that VC analysts. So if we go to Asana Labs, for example. Okay, so you might be on this page, you're reading about the company and you want to know like, okay, what competitors does it have and how does it stack up against those competitors? I can open the sidebar here with the AI companion that you have with you, but at all times, she's called Laura. And I can ask her to do research and create a competitor analysis. And this is actually something that I've trained her to do beforehand. So let's see. And all right, so what she's going to do now is she's going to start opening tabs, like I mentioned. And you're going to be able to see that up here. And then based on the links in those different tabs, she's going to keep looking, gather a bunch of information, and then give us some sort of report in the end. And it goes pretty quickly, actually. She goes like through a bunch of different tabs. But it will still do. It will still take a few minutes to complete.
While Laura is doing these research in the background, are you able to still use the browser and conduct your own work at the same time?
Absolutely, and that's like one of the kind of cool things. I would say that you kind of create a task that it's doing, and then you just kind of hand it off, and then you just keep doing whatever you were doing before, and you have this little marker here showing that she's working. And you can even create new chats and do multiple research runs in parallel, for example. And I think, again, like longer term, that's something that would be really cool if a big part of your browsing is kind of like delegating away different tasks to your agent.
And you had mentioned that you had trained Laura. Is this something that users can do, or is it just you as the Strawberry team?
Great question. So we try to give as much customization, like features as possible, or like as much control as possible to the user. And the reason why is because we think that one of the really big benefits of having AI in the browser is that it can get to know you over time. And that's a difficult technical problem to solve. But the way we begin to do it is by have her memorize things that you want her to memorize, like simple information, simple facts. Maybe you want her to memorize something that you did together, or you teach her a skill. So if you want to teach Laura a skill, you'll be able to just open this drop down here and press this little like teaching button. And when you press that, you'll see that you essentially write like a little container with a custom prompt for like, okay, if I ask you to do this, these are the very specific steps that I want you to follow. And that's what I did here with competitor analysis, that I told her that, okay, if I ask you to do competitor analysis, this is the type of stuff I'm looking for. And it seems like she is also done here. So she even created a little table here and created this like, let's see. So yeah, she has a few different columns. She has the competitor website, product services, USP, all of that.
So now that Laura has generated this table of the competitors, are you able to act upon it as a data source? Like, could I say, with these companies you've discovered, let me know what their social media presence is or something like that? And then can it iterate through and generate a secondary table based on that?
Absolutely. Actually, we could even go ahead and do that. And what I do want to do first is also show you like something that's also like super common, which is like after you've done research, you want to kind of do something with that information, like not just continue that research in a way that you were talking about, which definitely is something that people would do, but also like put it into some sort of data storage, let's say, and integrate it with apps that they're already using today on a daily basis. And that's a lot of the time, that's something like Google Sheets, which of course is like super good for this type of table format. So we have these different integrations. I can just ask Laura to add that table to a new sheet for me. Okay, I might have to re-authenticate here.
I really like how it's not just a chat interface for getting information, where you can actually delegate commands at the same time.
Yeah, I think that's like the really um what would you say, like the potential of a browser um at the end of the day. And I would like to mention another like really important part of that, which is like what's the format in which these different tasks are executed, right? Because I don't think, and this is pure guessing, no one knows where the future is going, of course, but like I don't think that people want to live in a world where it's like you have one chat interface where you're just like telling ChatGPT to do stuff. Does that make sense? Like you kind of want it to, you want to feel productive, and you want to feel as if you're part of the experience. You're co-creating with AI agents. Uh, yeah, which is again like why I think it makes so much sense to kind of have AI agents integrated into the browser where you're already doing your work, as like compared to having it in, let's say, like a standalone app.
Yeah, you get more of the magic feel when it's embedded in the flow and it's actually part of the process rather than just going over and having a chat. Plus, it just gives so many more options for behind the scenes things like committing actions. On top of
Hmm.
Google Sheets, what other integrations does it come with? Or are you working on building?
We're still working on building that out. We have kind of put the basics in, so the stuff that most people will kind of expect. So all the Google services, we have Notion, we have Airtable, I'm pretty sure we have HubSpot, and we have a lot few coming very soon.
Staying on top of AI news shouldn't mean endless scrolling. Anetic Daily Intelligence is a free daily report uniquely curated just for you, like a personal assistant updating you on exactly the AI news you need. Every report is unique to each reader and continually adapts based on your feedback, keeping you ahead of the curve on the topics that matter to you. Sign up now at anetic.co. You had briefly mentioned you can't predict the future, but I've always felt that one of the best ways of being able to do it is by building it. And this feels like a tangible step in the right direction, being able to give more people access to AI without them having to really do anything. They just install a browser like they normally would. How do you see the browser evolving over the next period of time? What do you see things changing as we get AI more embedded into the experience?
You know, I really love this topic. We think that the internet is going to just like fundamentally change in the coming years. And the internet, as we've known it for the last like 10 or 20 years, is going to be like just completely, like it's going to be turned on its head, essentially. And the reason why is because of the rise of Gen AI and uh, the um, the fact that agents are becoming a thing, and will become a thing. And we think that the future of the internet is kind of like this this net of like interconnected agents, like millions of agents that can collaborate together. And if you think about it, like the browser as a tool was built on just completely different premises, right? Like 20 years ago, it barely changed in the last 20 years, like, or not in meaningful ways, at least. And I'm going on a bit of a tangent here, and I guess what I'm trying to get at is that I think that it will fundamentally change. I think the thing that will stand in its center is agents and Gen AI. What people will require from the browser will be completely different, and I have no idea what it's going to be.
It could go any direction. One
Yeah.
of the areas I love exploring is just how accessibility gets improved by leveraging AI
Mm.
within web browsing experiences, where a lot of people, either through being visually impaired or through different levels of like sensitivity to stimulation, just can't use the internet in an existing way. So by having almost like an AI layer between, you can kind of set parameters and filters to make it more achievable to other people. Do you envision Strawberry gaining the ability to manipulate websites to change how they're presented or how users interact with it, or mostly be maintaining the web experience and just changing how the users interact with it?
Yeah, I think that will happen for sure. Um, the big question here that I find very interesting personally is like in like where will it happen, right? Is it going to be the browser that kind of takes some sort of original source and then morphs it in some way? Or are we going to see a rise of new front-end frameworks that are built to kind of on the fly generate a UI for the user, but each website still has some level of control of kind of their branding or whatever, instead of everything being standardized. And in a way, it does make sense that it would go in that direction. I think at the end of the day, it's going to be about user value, like what is going to be the best experience for the user. I think one thing that's going to be super important for this kind of generative UI future is context and context management. And obviously, the browser is going to play a huge role in that. But where the actual generation happens, I'm not sure.
Nope, makes sense. And one more question on this before I'd like to get into another demo. What are your thoughts on the use of vision models for web browsing versus just interacting with the DOM? Do you have any thoughts there?
I think vision models are really helpful. We use vision models ourselves for certain things. I think there are always going to be trade-offs in cost and speed, and so I think you wanna try to find the technology that has the lowest cost and highest speed, while still successfully and reliably completing the task. So wherever that trade-off ends up landing, I guess is where we're gonna end up.
Right on. Yeah, it's all about the end result rather than necessarily the process of getting there. So yeah, you showed us the read access. Could we see something, or sorry, the read capabilities? How about we see some of the write capabilities of Strawberry?
Yes, absolutely. And as you know, this is one of the things that I'm really, really excited about. I wonder if I want to, like, while we're at Sana, let's actually book a demo with them.
Nice.
So, like I mentioned earlier, we built in this capability for Laura to control her own mouse and keyboard. And there are kind of two ways for her to do that. There are these kind of one-off tasks that she's just going to be able to complete on the fly, right? I tell her like, hey, follow these steps, and she's going to do it. But then there's going to be this category of tasks that all of us have, frankly, which is like, okay, there's something you have to do, let's say 3 times per week, and you really, really, really hate doing it, and it's the same every time, but you have to do it, and there's no SaaS solution for it, or like whatever. There's no way to automate it, or at least not an accessible way to automate it. Then you're going to be able to use that same skill functionality that I showed earlier to kind of show Laura like what that repetitive task looks like. But let's start with it just doing something really, really simple, just to kind of show you how that looks. And by the way, I have no idea what's gonna happen when book and intro is clicked. So let's actually start a new chat, and we'll ask Laura to kind of press that button and figure it out.
Very cool that it rapidly can acknowledge that it sees a relevant button on the page.
So I'm just going to give her these details here. And by the way, this is the sort of stuff that over time you can ask her to memorize these details so that you don't have to answer these questions every time, right? But I'll just give her my email. All right, so now you can see this kind of purple boundary around the page. And this little purple marker up here. And that means that Laura has started to kind of click around on the page. And here is the first step where she's not sure what she's going to do. Like, what do we want to book? Do we want to know about agents or this learn thing? So she's going to ask for my confirmation. And she's asking, which product demo do you want to book? And, like, I guess agents sounds good. And this is actually one of my like personal favorite things about this, the fact that like you're doing your thing and then she checks in when she needs to.
Yeah, I think that's super important too, just for user confidence. As soon as you start automating things in a pretty like wild environment, it gives people a sense of a loss of control. So by having a check in, ask for clarification, it builds confidence in the system. It gets people more confident that it'll actually do what they want it to do.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And I think that whole trust question is really, um, really interesting. Hold on. Okay. Yeah, she's kind of guessing a bit on what I want to do there for the demo, but we got through it.
Nice. Has it taken over mouse control when we see the little Laura mouse moving around?
Yeah, exactly. So she has her own cursor that she's just kind of like playing around with and trying to make things work. And this is one of the examples where we're using visual data largely. But I still have my own mouse here, right, that I'm moving around. And I should also
Excellent.
mention that here as well, I can still be in other tabs, and she's going to be able to keep going in the original tab where she spawned in, you could say. And I'll be able to get these kind of notifications here where she's asking for confirmation. And then let's see, she's asking us here for the date. And I think that's May 5th. Looks good. Oops.
Yeah, I love the fact that you can go into a different tab and keep working, and then it'll just kind of alert you. Is it
Yeah.
able to do this browser control? You'd mentioned you could send off multiple tasks. Is that just for the read, or can it also do actions in multiple tabs simultaneously?
It can do like actions, reading, whatever. They can do a lot of stuff at the same time. I think one of the cool things that we still haven't figured out yet is kind of if you have, let's say, 10 tasks open at the same time, how do you do that in a way that makes sense um, to the user, right? That you can follow everything and you know for sure that you can trust what's happening. Um, for example, we had this case where it asked me which date to book. Well, then I had to go in and let it know, like, oh, I had to check. Okay, these are the available dates, and this is a good one. And I think something that would be really cool from our end is if we were able to make it more generative, so that it actually shows you, hey, here are some available dates, and then I can just press one or add a comment if I want to. Yeah, so I don't have to go look for it. Like if let's say I have these like 10 different tabs open, I might not be like sure exactly where that was, right? So some sort of control center would be nice.
One issue that comes up a lot with people when discussing bringing AI into the browser is privacy and security, where all of a sudden their personal interaction with the internet now has this AI reading and analyzing things and acting on their behalf. How does Strawberry handle privacy and security?
Yeah. Yeah, and of course in the browser, that's like one of the places where the most private information might be, right? Like if you have a contained app where you get to choose exactly what to tell the agent, then that's completely different than, hey, here are all my tabs. So that's definitely something we're really trying to be thoughtful about and make sure we get that right. We save everything locally, right? So we don't get any of your information. We don't save any of your chats. We don't get any of your website content. Your passwords are all locally. Really for like what you would expect, I think, from a browser a lot of the time. Of course, we are using Gen AI, which means that some information needs to be sent to the Gen AI providers. And so they do get information about, let's say, the page you're on when you're asking a specific question about that specific page, right? So in this case, when I was on Sana's website and asked it a question, okay, that's when it gets information about what's on the page. But it's not. It's still like, yeah, like I said, saved locally, and these different LLM providers often have that. I think they keep it for 30 days a lot of the time just for security reasons, and then they delete it and they don't train their models. um, on your data. And I think a big part of that is just kind of trying to be transparent about how all of that works and make sure that the control ultimately is in the hands of the user.
Love hearing that. It's very important to get people confident that they can take control of their data and just not have, especially things like passwords and private information. So that's really reassuring. I did notice at the drop down where Laura is, there's the option to select other companions. What's the process there? How do we make new companions?
Yeah. So this is where you're building your Avengers team of companions, and I actually have a bunch of other companions personally, but just for clarity, kind of hit them today. But let's say you have like a bunch of different like projects you're working on. Like let's say you're working on a product hunt launch. Then you might have a bunch of information and a bunch of specific links that you don't want to get. You don't want Laura to start like bringing up a bunch of random links when they're not relevant. And sometimes it can be hard for a companion that has a lot of information to kind of understand when to do what. So to have different companions is kind of your way to put into control, like when should we care about what? So I might create like Product Hunt Peter as a companion, and then he will have memories about like what is our launch strategy, like which people did we reach out to, which channels are we creating content in or whatever. And so yeah, so I think this is at the end of the day kind of a not necessarily a power user feature, but a feature that you don't have to use. It's more like when you feel like you have when you have the need for it, you might create a new one. So it's really simple. It's like you create a new companion, you can choose how it's gonna look, and then it's gonna have essentially all the exact same capability, like base capabilities that Laura has, but all the memories and all of that is going to be different.
Very cool. So say if I wanted hypothetically a social media companion, I could put things like the different handles, the websites to go to. Like I have Twitter, but I don't have TikTok, and the skills could be something like being able to like analyze mentions or something like that, and you could just have it tailored to that specific use.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, and it's like super quick to do. We can use Sophia, let's say. You are my social media manager. And then I'll just create there, and I'll be able to toggle between these two. And so Sophia has no access to whatever, like the memories that Laura has, and the other way around. And speaking of memories, I could actually show you how that works. For example, I might want to ask Sophia that specifically that, hey, this is my Twitter handle. So I might say like, my Twitter handle is so, and then oh sorry, I completely forgot that I should memorize it, please. Okay, so there we go. So now she's gonna add that to her memory, so that she's gonna be able to like get that information when it's relevant, but it might not be relevant to Laura specifically, who is my main companion.
Very cool. If I and my entire team all adopted Strawberry, and I made the perfect companion, can I share it with them, or do they have to just copy paste everything I did?
Yeah, no, it's export import. Wouldn't it be super cool though if they could even collaborate with each other, so that like your Laura could collaborate with like your team members Laura, and they can all work on a project and give you updates about like what's happening.
Wait, sorry, walk me through that. That sounds incredible.
Yeah, so that's not something that we're doing today, by the way, but that's something that I would love to do personally, is have some sort of way for companions to work together, right? So you might have some memories that are super specific to you, but But there might be information that is specific to the organization, and you might have a project where several people are involved. Well, that would be a great opportunity to have your companions work together to complete tasks that you might want to do with your team members. Like, does that make sense?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I know it's very early and you got the big product launch coming up soon, but do you want to give us a little insight to the roadmap for Strawberry? Like what can we expect in the coming months?
Yeah, so I'm sure you can tell that like I'm all over the place when it comes to like ideas and cool stuff you can do. And I think in general we live in a time right now where so much is possible and there's so little time. But yeah, like roadmap ahead, I think with our product launch, I would say like the big goal with that one is to really understand, to get early feedback and understand what direction to take the product. Because obviously there's a bunch of cool stuff that we might want to do, but at the end of the day, if that's not something that really attracts people, or if there are other things that people might think are more helpful, then that's going to be the things that we prioritize. And I think we really want to be listening a lot to our users. And since we're still we're pre-beta, so we're still in a very early stage. It's definitely a usable product, but I would say that it's still too early to really give us super clear, this is exactly what's going to happen in this order.
Yeah, it makes sense. Just in regards to how things have been developed so far, do you want to shed any insight why you opted for building an entire browser versus just a browser extension that people can install?
There's no doubt in my mind that short term you can create a bunch of value with an extension. And there are extensions and they provide value. I think long term, it makes much more sense to build at this level of building a new browser. For that reason that I mentioned earlier today, which is that browsers were built on a completely different premise, right? Than what the internet's going to be in I don't know, 5-10 years. And I think to kind of patch layers above on top of something that's already broken, I think makes sense for a short while, but at the end of the day, I think we want to build for the world we live in today, and we just thought it made a lot of sense for a new type of browser, almost a new category of product to exist.
I do foresee getting to the point where we actually get OS level agents, but there's something inherent about the web browser where the need for computers to interact with the internet is never going away. That's integral now. So even if there were OS level agents, they're still going to need web browsing. And do you want to have that abstracted away, or do you want to be able to isolate things? I think it's going to be, let the market decide, see how people do it. But I feel like the browser is the happy medium right now where you're controlling an entire application while still allowing the user that flexibility to not use it. They could use other things. With the OS, it's there, it's embedded. So I think you found the right happy medium. One thing I think I saw on your website that's really on my radar for how these type of systems will work is actually having it write on my behalf. So whether it's writing social media posts, writing emails, there's a massive unlock if it can do the first draft and I can go in and just kind of tidy it up and get it to my liking rather than starting with the blank page problem. How does Strawberry approach that avenue of help?
Great question. One of the huge benefits of being a browser rather than one specific container, which is like a web app, let's say, is that you have context about what the user is doing, right? So I might be looking at some company's website and then I'm going to my email and I start writing something. Then the fact that I just saw something on that other website might have something to do with the fact what I'm going to write right now. So yeah, we do have a autocomplete, auto-write feature. And I'd be happy to show you a bit of a demo. I think, again, context is key here. And there are a lot of different autocomplete features or products out there. I think the main difference here in potential wise is again like the fact that you have the information that might be relevant. So we have two places where we get that information. One is kind of your browsing history, what you did in the last few minutes, let's say. And then the other one is what have you written previously and in what context did you write those things, right? So, for example, if I keep writing in this like random input field here, I keep writing that I really like purple. So let's say I'm like, I'm a big fan of purple. And then I wait a bit and I go, wow, I really like purple. And then I'll write my favorite color is, and then our autocomplete works by selecting some text. So if you just select the end of the sentence here, it's gonna start thinking. Oh wait, I might have to do it like this. Yes, it's gonna start thinking, and purple.
Is that added to your memory? Like, will it say like Sebastian likes purple, or is that kind of hidden away?
Yeah, so there's a memory of what you wrote on what pages, and by the way, that's all local. Like that's all locally saved, and there's no like passwords or something. Like we exclude password fields. But yeah, so it saves information of what you wrote previously, saves that in your browser, and then it's going to be able to access that information while writing this. And something that I think is really cool, and I'm really looking forward to hear kind of more feedback on this, but something we're doing in terms of UI is that we're actually using the input field as the instruction place. So I might write here like, write a sonnet. Let's see if this works. Then if you select that, it's going to take that. Oh, okay. Maybe that. Oh no, I tried to autocomplete it. Okay. But the point is that we use that as the place to do instructions. I might need to write that a little bit more, a little bit better instructions for it to get what I wanted to do. We did just add this transcription feature where it transcribes the meetings you're on, and then you can use that as context. I think that's pretty cool.
I'm a big fan of using voice input in general. Is there any way to do voice input directly in Strawberry, or would I use one of my other tools like Super Whisper or Handy?
Yeah, we do want to add that as the functionality. For now, I would say stick to something like Mac Whisperer. But yeah, I think that would be cool to have.
Any other thoughts on different, whether it's input modalities or things added to context? Do you foresee the need for photos getting into this or anything like that, or will it be mostly text-based for the next phase?
Yeah, so you can actually input photos in here, and even select it from your computer. Actually, you can upload files from your computer. I think the next big step is kind of video and audio for sure. So let's say you might want to like talk to a YouTube video or something like that. I think that would be really cool. Or if you want to add some sort of, if you want to actually talk with voice to your input or to your AI companion, I think that'd be cool.
Who are some people that you think should be using Strawberry right now, and what type of benefits do they get from it?
Yeah, I would say the more kind of repetitive tasks you have in your daily workflows, the better. And that goes for both like research or like doing the exact like same 7 clicks over and over again. And the more you are in type of different tabs, like let's say you have like 100 tabs open, I think that's also probably some sort of an indicator that it might be helpful for you to have an AI companion with you that helps you complete whatever task is relevant at that point.
Absolutely. Sebastian, really appreciate you coming on and teaching us about Strawberry. Before I let you go, anything you want the audience to know?
We're about to like head into is such a huge paradigm shift. I think it's probably sometimes I feel like I had the instinct to try and predict it. I think my leading theory is that a better approach is just kind of build cool stuff that are helpful to people and while it's happening, and kind of keep an open mind and see where it's all going. And so I guess I would just kind of say that like we're trying to build something really cool with Strawberry, and yeah, I was really looking forward to hearing people's feedback. We are launching on Product Hunt the day after this is going to air, I think. So yeah, please like check that out. There's going to be a special offer there on the day, and you'll be able to try out Strawberry. And I'm really looking forward to your feedback.
We'll link it all down below. Highly encourage everyone to check it out, and can't wait to try it myself.
All right, thanks. Bye.